Good day, my creative friends. This is Trisha. Thanks for joining me on my channel, Creative Unique Treasures. And what I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and do a pair of pajama pants. And I'm going to try to make them like a fun palooza type thing. Like, I guess just a nice cozy, ruffly. I guess there's no name, but I see them on YouTube a lot. People are making them. And what they're doing is they're taking a pair of cotton. I have my cotton jammy bottoms. And these are it right here. And they're nice and cotton and real soft. And I'm going to take it to my iron, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut up. This is about 10 inches up. I'm going to cut the bottoms off. And I have different materials. I'm going to make some pockets in the front of the pant legs. So like I already got this cut out. This is just a sheet. And they'll be like that. And then I have different strips of material that I didn't go out and buy anything. I'm going to try to use everything that I have. And I'm going to make like a ruffle to go around the pocket and pinch pleat it. That's what I'm thinking on doing. I have some different pieces of lace to add to it. You know, different pieces of material. And then on the bottom, I'm going to do a ruffle around the pant legs. So what I remove from the bottom, I'm going to have to add. So I have a few different options. I have this, and I thought this has already got the edge already done for me. So that'll be nice. So I can just cut up here, and then I can just add on different pieces and ruffle up some different pieces. So that's what I'm working on. I have some different pieces of lace, blue lace, to bring out the blue in the pajama pants. We're just going to add different stuff. I have this lace here. So I hope you join me. It's just going to be probably a quick video. And these will be some nice spring pants to wear out and about, and to kind of decorate them up a little bit and make them nice, and they're going to be nice and soft and cozy for the summer. So yeah, let me go ahead and get this ironed and then get it cut, and I'll come back and show you the next step. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, it would be great if you could subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, and then you'll know when I come up with another video. Okay, I have my pants all ironed and cut at the bottom. And I have this is going to be my first layer of the ruffle on the bottom. I have this, and this is what I really like. But the only thing about this is I don't have enough of this. And this has got the border already for the bottom, the edge. So I do have a lot of more of this material. It's from a sheet. So I don't have enough to go around each pant leg. I need 48 inches on both legs to make a good size, like, pleated ruffle. And so what I'm going to do is this is my strip up for my ruffle on the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and add to this, just this kind of material, because I don't have any more of that, which I wish I did, but I want to use what I have. So I'm going to piece that together from the other part of the sheet. I hope I explained that correctly, but you'll see when I get back. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a 9-inch wide tall strip, and then add this to that. So it'll just be this plain, like this material without this, and I'll just piece it in, and you won't be able to tell because it'll be pleated. And then I do have, which I found, which I'm glad about, my next layer of the ruffle on the bottom is already done for me. It's from this curtain, so it's a real pretty piece of lace, and it's already pleated and gathered. So that will go over top of like that, and that will be the second layer. So I'll get that cut out and come back and show you. Okay, we're working on the bottom ruffle for the pants, and I had 60 inches of this sheet here, and I didn't have enough, and I needed 90 inches, so I had to add on a piece of this sheet, but it doesn't have this part, the border, so I just had to go with what I've got. So I had to add that on. So what I did is I cut what I needed from the sheet, and I sewed it on to this for an addition, and that's how that's looking. So I sewed it onto this piece, and I will sew this piece on to the other end to make this 90 inches long. And how I'm doing that is I'm putting this on top and this on bottom. And I'm just doing a straight stitch. So it will end up like this, look like this. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this side to this end, and then we'll be able to do the ruffle. Okay, so this is what I got so far. I kind of changed my mind, surprise, surprise. I want to add in, since the pants have some blue in there, and I apologize for my lighting. It's very cloudy and rainy in Michigan today. So I got a lot of lights on, some yellow lights and some daylight lights. So here we go. I decided I was going to add some blue to the ruffle on the bottom. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of pinch pleating on here, or either that or I might just sew this on. I think I might just sew it on because when I gather it, it's gonna do that anyway. I haven't decided if I want to do a pinch pleating to make it a ruffle already on there. I think I will do that. See, I'm kind of undecided. I go back and forth, and that's where I get hung up a lot. So I don't know about you guys, but I have so many choices, and I look at it, and which I'm glad I have a lot of choices. So I cut a 2-inch stripe, not stripe, but a 2-inch tall butt, and this is approximately 75 inches long. And this is a cloth tablecloth. So I'm going to go ahead and decide when I get to the sewing machine if I just want to sew this onto this piece of the bottom. I already did the ruffle for the bottom on this leg, and how I did that is I basted along the top. I went down about 1.5 inches, and I just did the largest stitch on my sewing machine, and then I pulled the bottom thread, not the top, but the bottom thread, and I gathered it up. So that made it already ruffly. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to go ahead and go to the machine and figure out if I want to do, I probably should do a ruffle and do it the same way I did it up here for the blue and white checked. I think that's what I'll do. And I'll come back and show you. Okay, I got my bottom ruffle for my pants right here. And I'm going to sew, I'm going to go ahead and sew on some blue and white checked. And make a little ruffle here on the, to add some blue and white on there. I'm going to go over about 1 inch. Like 1 inch. I'm going to let that one overlap, this one, the blue and white. And I'm going to line it up with the pink border there, the top of it right here. I'm going to go over a little bit. Make sure I got some thread in the back there. I'm going to do some pinch pleating. In the back space, lock it in, and then I'm going to go ahead and pick this up a little bit and fold it over. Try to stay on the stay on this line here. Try to keep it straight. And usually you go in the same direction. Some people go back and forth, but I like to go in one direction. I'm going to try this with the one pant leg, and the other one I'm going to see how I like it, gathered or like with the, you know, the bottoms bobbin thread, and then you pull it to make it gathered. I think I'm going to pinch pleat it though. I like that look. So I'm going to go do this all the way across, all the way through. And then like remember we I don't have enough of this, so I just sewed this piece on, so I'll just continue and put the blue and white checked right here. So I'm going to do that all the way across, and I'll come back and show you. The next step I'm going to do is I got that all put on there. And I'm going to cut along this edge. Along this edge on the bottom of that blue and white checkered ruffle. And I'm going to cut along the top edge with my pinking shears to make it just a little bit more fun. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You know, if you got pinking shears, or just to help it to stop fraying. So I'm going to just go ahead and just do that. Try to do it straight. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, what I did was I took my pinking shears and one all the way across on that, and one all the way across on the top of the ruffle on the bottom. So that's the bottom of the pants. And then I took the pants, and so they would stop fraying, and I did the pinking shears along the bottom of the edge where I cut off the bottoms. Okay, the next step I have to do is I have to take my other, this is the ruffle for the bottom, and I went ahead and I went and did 1 inch down, and I put like the biggest stitch, and I put on my machine so I could ruffle this and gather it. And I pulled the bottom thread. It's very important that you pull the bottom thread, your bobbin thread, not your top thread. So I'm going to do the same thing to this one. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to show you that I'm going to go ahead and mark 1 inch down with my tailor's chalk all the way across. So I can follow that and do my largest stitch on my machine. I'm just going to go along. So that'll be my guide to do my largest stitch, basting stitch. So I'm going to go all the way down my material for my ruffle, all the way down to here, and mark it with the 1 inch. Take it to my machine, put on the largest stitch, and then have a long tail of thread, and then sew this up, and then I'll take the bobbin, which is on the bottom part of the ruffle, the bobbin thread, and I'll pull it and gather it, and it'll end up being like this. Now I went and did that, so I have my basting stitch. I know it's white on white, but there it is on green. So I'm going to take, this is the front, so I'm going to take it on the back. So this is the back thread. And I'll just gently start pulling and see how it, and it'll take me a few minutes to do this. And it starts making a beautiful ruffle, like pleated gathering. So I'll go ahead and sit down and take my time so I don't rip, break my thread. And another important thing is when you start to baste do the basting stitch, you don't backspace, you don't lock it in. You just go ahead and just keep continuing going, sewing, and then when you get to the other side, you don't lock it in. You just have it nice and loose so you can pull on it. Okay, I'm starting to work on the pockets, and I have my pockets, and they're this size. Let's see what we got measured up here. 8 by 9.5. And I want to take my pinking shears and make an edge, what pinking shears do, like the pretty little, I like the texture of the pinking shear. So, if you don't have a pair of pinking shears, you should try to get a pair. I used to borrow my mother's, but I really like them. I just like that look. So there we go. Got that done. Okay, so I got these all ironed. I'm going to go take it to my machine, and I'm going to put this little piece of material in the center. Use my pinking shears. So that's one pocket. And here's the other one. And then I got this blue and white checkered, and I'm going to do some pinch pleating, and I'm going to do it around this piece of material, and I'm going to do it around the pocket, and I'll come back and show you. Okay, the next step I got to do is I have this piece to go on the front of the pocket, and here's the pocket, and I'm just going to sew this on. Kind of put it in the center here. I'm going to sew along right here, straight stitch with white thread, and attach that to the pocket. Okay, I'm going to just go ahead and sew them on, sew the pockets on, straight stitch and zigzag, I think, to make them extra durability. And I keep moving them around a little bit here and there, and I like them at a certain place, but if I want to sell these, I want to put them straight across from each other and kind of straightish. Is straightish a word? Us upcyclers, we can create upcycled words. So I'm going to go with straightish. They're pretty straightish, and so I'm going to go ahead and sew them on. Okay, I got the pocket, one of the pockets put on, and I wanted to just show you the things that I've learned about doing pockets. Now, when you're pinning it on, you should use a lot of pins. I have pins all the way around. Because as you're sewing, sometimes it shifts a little bit. Well, it does for me anyway. So I was just wanted to let you know that. And an easy thing to do, you could take cardboard or anything you have. I just had this on hand. And you slip it through so you don't pin it to the other side of the material. You could use cardboard, a cutting board, anything that could stop you from pinning it to the back side of the pants. I've done that a lot of times too. So I pinned it all the way around, and so now, and I laid it flat, and I made sure it was nice and flat so there was no wrinkles, and then I pinned it. So now I'll take it and go do a straight stitch and go all the way around twice for durability. Okay, I got both pockets sewn on, and they're straightish. There's that one, and there's this one. Now the only thing I would like to do, and I should have done before I sewed them on, is I would have liked to have added something to make a distinction of where the pocket is. Like here, my pocket goes right here, and maybe a piece of ribbon, but I can always sew that on by hand later. Now I'm going to start working on the ruffle for the bottom of the pants. I'm going to equal out my ruffle that I made with my bottom string and make it equal all the way around the pant leg, and then pin it in place. Make sure these are like kind of even. And I think I want this little edge. It's about 1 inch tall. And I think I want, so I think I'm going to sew along the where I did the basting stitch to attach them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, equal it all out, and then pin it real good. And sew them on, and I think that we'll be done. Besides me trying to find something to outline my pockets, to bring them out a little bit. Even if I was to do just something like use this blue and white checked, and kind of fold it over, and do that. One thing I wanted to share with you. So I folded the ruffle in half. So it's approximately 12 inches across, because that's what my front pant, you know, the front of the pants is. So I folded it in half, and I want the pink at the bottom in the front, and I want the opening towards the outside side of the pants. So on both legs. So here's that. Try to get it in the. And then on the other side, I want the opening to be on the other side of the pant leg. Like that. Let me see if I can get, yeah, just see it all. Like that. I'll sew them on the outside because I want this to be showing the ruffle. Yeah, so I just want to show you that. Thanks for the patience. Okay, I am going to do something that I wanted to come back on and show you. This right here is 1 inch. And I want to go mark my pants 1 inch. All the way around. So I'm going to take my tailor's chalk and all the way around I'm going to mark it at 1 inch. I probably should get a different color, but I think I'll do all right with this pink. So I'm going to put a mark as a guide, which is right there. And then I'll pin this on. The top of that, onto that. Either that, or I think maybe I will, let me see here. I'm doing my thinking process. I think I'm going to go up a 1/2 inch and then put this on the 1/2 inch mark on my pants and sew it on. But I am going to mark my pants a 1/2 inch up for my guide on my machine. Hey everybody, it's me, Trisha. Thanks for joining me on Creative Unique Treasures. I just wanted to show you the pants. They're all done. Let me get out of the way here. Sneak over. Alright, so here they are. We got the pockets and we got the ruffle and we got the ruffle on the bottom, and we did the gathering with the sewing machine. Yeah, they turned out really cute. They're called, like, I guess I'm gonna call them bloomers. So I just wanted to come on here and give you show them to you Anyways, I want to thank you all for joining me on this. And stay tuned. I want to do some more videos. I keep looking over at my monitor to see if I'm in the shot. And I want to thank you so much for joining me and subscribing and just being a part of my channel. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So we'll see you next time. Stay tuned. Bye for now.